together. Come on.
Somehow going live and I'm all thumbs. Hi guys. We just made a video and we thought we'd just come on and answer some questions.
Yes.
And your husband's
yes.
pushing us out of our comfort zone.
Yes, we were live in Active Allies and we didn't, well, I didn't realize that, but she did. So now we're live.
I thought we were in agreement.
Yes, live to the public now. So
if you have questions or comments, questions or comments for us about race or some of our conversations, just type them in. If we get to them, we have about 10 more minutes.
Yes.
We'd love to do that. But we were just sort of talking about how we decide whether or not we're going to respond to people when they give us questions on race. So a lot of times I get private messages. That's Heath Sanfurgi.
Oh, hi.
We get lots of messages, or I get lots of questions, or I'll get lots of inboxes when I make videos, and they're a lot of times they are position defenders reframed as questions.
Okay.
Another, I might get someone who writes, well, what do you think about this? Or do all black people think this? Or whatever the case may be. And really, if you look behind it, it's not an inquiry. Mm-hmm. It's not a please help me understand something I don't understand. Really, it's a defense framed as a question.
There you go. Yep.
And I always say learners ask questions. And if someone's looking to defend a position, they can have the position. Mm-hmm. That's not who I'm interested in answering.
That's a great point, by the way.
I'm learning this from you more and more and more.
We're learning from each other. We're learning from each other.
Yeah.
Any questions, guys?
Well, and you were just saying haters are everywhere.
They are.
Watch
the other video.
Yeah.
Haters are everywhere. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. Oh, I don't think I touched on it in the other video, but that we were talking about how that's our conversation this morning is talking about how that's how you know you're legit when you start getting more and more haters, right? So we welcome that, I guess, right? Do we welcome that?
I don't know if I welcome it because I hate conflict. Mm. But I think it's part of the deal. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to put yourself out there.
If you're going to put yourself out there. And it is teaching me to be thicker skinned.
Yeah.
You would think I would be really thick skinned, but apparently I am a little thinnish on the skin side.
But you just said before in the other video that you have changed so much since even last July, right? And even since a year ago, right? So I think it's a process, right? And you got to grow and learn. Even myself, oh my goodness, I've learned a lot and grown a lot since last May when I first attended my first community conversation. So I was just doing a lot of watching, and now I'm facilitating, which feels really good. And
facilitating I'm a nervous talker. Facilitating major stuff.
I'm a nervous talker too, which is like I'm pretty sure I should have taken like a Toastmasters class or something. But like, I'm too far in now. I just gotta go with it. So I think talking about race brings conflict, and it will bring out people who have extreme opinions. Mm-hmm. People only have to go off of their own life experience, right? So one of the things that Rashim talks about is, that's my husband, by the way, is how you don't know what you don't know. So I can't blame you if you grew up in middle America and all you saw was vanilla, right? Like you didn't see anybody else, right?
Never.
And then the only time you did see somebody of a different color is maybe on TV, not shown in the best light. Maybe so an example would be like a black person committing a crime. So that's the only thought you have is, oh, well, black people commit crime. But it takes getting outside of that bubble, right, to realize, oh, wait a second, this is not at all what I thought, But actually having a conversation, meeting with someone, and that's what I've been kind of preaching the whole time, if I can use that term, preaching. Like, just talk to somebody. Have a 30-minute conversation with somebody who doesn't look like you, and your mind will be blown, and I'm sure it'll change your life,
Yeah, well, and for me, it really took the amount of racism that I witnessed in the lives of my children. Mm-hmm. So it was really like the frequency, the amount, and the cruelty and the extremism of it For me, I mean, I was like watching it. And then what was really hard is I'd have this experience and I would feel that, I don't know, for me, I would feel that shame creeping up the back of my neck, like this hot feeling.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's like this, like, because sometimes my kids would run through the store and a person would give them a dirty look. But then other times my kids would run through the store and they would give them a dirty look and it would have a whole different feeling in my body. And I have learned to trust the shame feeling in my body. Like, this is about race. This is about people. Like my husband calls them John Q. Public, right? This is just about a person being annoyed, and this is when it has a different. Do you feel like that same way?
Yeah, and just trust your gut. You know,
Sometimes
your gut. It has that air about it that, you know. I know I was at a local grocery store. I won't call you out because I like you, local grocery store. And I was at the customer service.
But we might call you next time.
Depending on what you do. There was a customer in front of me and a customer behind me, both white. And the cashier helps the person in front of me and then asked to help the person behind me. And I was like, you don't see me standing here. And she's like, I didn't see you. I said, come on now. I said, I'm in between these two that you're trying to help, right? And I just walked away from the situation. But that had a different air about it. That definitely felt like race. How did you not see me? I'm in line with everybody else.
Then the hard thing for me was, so that would all happen, right? And then I would go to my white friends and they would be like, oh no, that was just a crabby person. And then I felt
so isn't that what they call white-splaining, right?
That is white-splaining
away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then I became, I'm not crying, I'm just talking about my journey. I became completely frustrated, and then I would go home and I'd be like, oh, I'm just imagining it and I'm wrong. So that not only did I have this experience where this person completely shamed my children and was racist toward my children, but then I would go home and I would explain it to my friends or my family members who would tell me I was crazy. So then I would lay awake and think, not only did I have all that yucky feelings that I had, but now I'm crazy.
Right.
I mean, I'm just describing the smallest snapshot of being black.
I mean,
in America.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you tell your lived experience and then someone tells you it's not your lived experience.
Exactly.
She wouldn't acknowledge that she was racist to you.
Right. But that's what it felt like in that moment, right? Sometimes I'll ask myself this question, like, what else could it possibly be? You know what I mean?
That's a great question.
What else could it possibly be in this moment? You know, I'm standing here with my items because when you're in the customer service line, they don't want you to bring more than 10 things. So I'm standing here with my items in between these two people, right? One person who's just gotten service and the person who she's trying to service, and you don't see me. What does that say? What else could it possibly be?
See, that's what I think when I hear, and I'm switching gears a little bit, but colorblind reminds me of that. See, colorblind, when people say, oh, I'm colorblind, I don't see color, to me that says I'm going to refuse to see what just happened to you.
And I view that term a little bit different. I don't actually care for that term.
I don't
colorblind.
either.
But I feel like the only true way you can be colorblind is once you've actually gotten to know someone. So when I get together with you, I don't think, oh, I'm going to go meet my white friend Heather, who's a middle-aged white woman who wears yoga pants. I don't think about that. I just think,
I'm wearing jeans today.
She's wearing jeans today. Give her credit.
I might be a wedding or a funeral.
But I don't think about Heather, the white woman, Heath, the white husband, and the two black. I don't think about that. I just think, oh, I'm going to go see the Andersons. Yeah. You know? So, I don't know. That's the only way I think you can. Do we get some questions or no?
No, I do think, and Virgie's just saying hello and she's got to charge her phone. But I do think, colorblind is for after we've included and acknowledged and we're unequal standing. So yes, colorblind is the goal, but it's way off. It's a goal to work. It certainly isn't where we are in America. Yeah, we aren't there yet. When we have equality and inclusion, and those kinds of things aren't happening to you on a weekly basis anymore. And when they happen to you, white people are going, "That's not okay. We're all going to stand with you, Naya." Yep. When we're on those,
wouldn't that be lovely?
Wouldn't that? I just had goosebumps. Like, can you imagine if you came on and told a story and white people actually just listened to you and acknowledged it?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That would be that's when the change is gonna happen. That's when the change is really gonna happen. Nope, we're not standing for. You know what? A 15-year-old boy just got murdered by the police last week. Nope, we're not going for that. We're not having that. You know more. You're not killing any more of our kids. Like if everybody collectively stood up and said that, wow, how powerful is that?
We'd be getting closer to colorblind.
There we go.
Dang.
Yeah. That's what Oprah calls aha moments. Did you feel like the little chills?
I did, yeah. Yes. I did. I don't know if it's drafty or if we're super awesome.
I am a little cold, but it was different. I feel it in my gut.
Yeah. I think just be careful of that, of swallowing things a little too soon. Make sure you're paying attention to people's lived experience and giving them a voice and hearing them and trusting that people understand the feeling of hotness up the back of their neck. I now trust my gut when my children are experience racism. I now know what that looks like because I've learned to listen and trust, and I speak to it honestly, even if the other people around me don't acknowledge it. So in other words, if I say to the person at the zoo, yeah, my kid's not getting off the sidewalk just because he's black and you're white. And they're like, that's not what I meant. He was just loud. Yep, it's about race. You can put another label on if you want to, but the back of my neck told me what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's and you don't get to aggress in bias and then Terry wants to know where we're in our house. We're in my house. When you don't get to act in bias and then label it as something else in my presence. It is that. Let's just all name it that so we're all clear.
Yep.
And then we'll move on from there. Like, you don't like my kids? My kids are black? Okay. Now we can move on.
Yep. Exactly. Just like the incident that happened at the restaurant at Mall of America, right? When you told me that story, just me being a neutral third party, right? Like, I was like, that sounds like racism, you know? About your children not being served, but the other children getting served. Like,
yeah.
And again, you could ask that question. What else could it be in this moment? What else could it be, right?
Literally, we were in a group of all white people.
Yeah.
And the server was refusing to serve my 2 black kids.
Yep. What else could it be?
What else could it be? Yeah, does Naya feel like she can respond the same way? Oh, do you always feel like you can respond informed? Because I can stand in my white privilege and be like, it's not going to go down like that. Or do you sometimes feel like if you responded that angrily that you'd be...
It's not about responding angrily. I'm sure you've probably seen enough videos. Who asked that question, by the way?
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. You've probably seen enough videos to know by now. Like, I'm a pretty happy, like, cheery person.
I inserted angry there, not you.
But, well, that's fine. But,
yeah.
Let me just clear that up really quick. But, like, I feel like I can get my point across and still have a smile on my face. So you won't feel threatened, but you'll get what I'm saying, you know. I don't know. Does that kind of clear up or not really?
I try not to get angry, but I do try to be very firm. And I do, direct. Yeah.
There you go.
Direct. Yeah. And Regime says, I like to respond.
With a smile on the end, yes. Just let me say this, though. There's sometimes the angry black man is not necessary, but sometimes the angry black man is necessary, and I'm glad that I have my angry black man. So, there have been moments I'm like, yes, get him.
Well, and there are times for responding. There are times for just holding your space and responding and saying, this is not okay. And we don't all have to make it smooth. I think sometimes we feel like, I don't know, being as a white woman, like, I don't want to be the person who starts something. I don't want to be an aggressor. So I want to make sure that...
I'm going to get my shoes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about your time. So I'm always trying to be careful of that. But sometimes there's just nothing like... The truth is provocative.
It is.
The truth will make people uncomfortable. The truth will have people confronting what they're doing to you, and it's okay to do that. You don't have to always sugarcoat it and make... I am less and less inclined to make other people feel comfortable in their aggressions.
I agree with that statement. I think that
otherwise you wear it.
I think that where we are right now in this climate, right? Not even necessarily political climate, but just in this climate, like there isn't time to like sugarcoat stuff. There just isn't. Like, put it out there. Like the comment you just made about starting something. This is the time to start something, right? We don't have time to waste here. Like there's been enough time that's been wasted. There's
been enough Black lives that didn't matter.
Exactly.
Let's be done playing.
Mm-hmm. Can we all rise up and say enough is enough and be done with that, right? Can we just be done? Right? Can we just be done with that, please? Done. And yeah, it breaks my heart every time. And again, like I said, we know that that's not the last time. We know it's going to happen however many more times, and whose life will be affected and impacted. I've thought about that family every single day.
Me too.
Every single day.
Multiple times.
Unnecessary grief, going through unnecessary grief.
Excruciating grief. I just read and what a sad thing. And I just keep thinking, all right, well, maybe we'll influence the next person who will be each conversation that I have, maybe that's one person who will say one more thing. And I'm not necessarily looking to turn everybody in all directions, but I am in every conversation, in every place that I go, looking for 1 degree of change in every person. Mm-hmm. So you best not get in line behind me at that grocery store, because we will have a conversation.
Or you will find them on the way out, right?
I will.
Yeah.
I'll find the person. Would you have time to tell that story? The woman who was so unkind to this cashier wearing a hijab at Herberger's the other day. And she was just rude. And she was inspecting a receipt as if this person had
tried to rip her off.
And here this person had given her a coupon and was very gracious. And so
didn't say hello, didn't say thank you.
Didn't say thank you. Just took the receipt, inspected it, folded it up, watching her person walk away. And this girl was gracious enough to save her like 30% on her purchases. So after I talked to the cashier and said, I'm sorry, and that felt like more, and I'm going to confront that woman, but I'm not going to do it in front of you. Mm-hmm. Then I went and found that woman in the store and said, what can I ask what happened that you couldn't say please and thank you and hello?
And one good thing to point out is that you weren't aggressive about it, right? You said, you were like even touching her arm, like, what happened back there, that kind of thing. Like the way you went about it wasn't at all, it didn't seem confrontational, at least based on the story you told me. It didn't seem confrontational.
No,
it just
I think she white-explained to me a little bit. She said she had a phone call that threw her off. And so I gave her the benefit of the doubt, because we all know white people get that.
You do.
Right? And so then she said she had a phone call and she was distracted. And I just said, I'm so glad that you weren't unkind because your cashier was Muslim.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Thank you and I'll be praying for you with whatever happened with that phone call. Mm-hmm. So even that, but she probably will hear I always think that maybe they'll hear my voice in the back of their head, right? Like, I say to every person when I'm making a return, they say, do you have your receipt? And I say, I'm a middle-aged white woman wearing yoga pants. I don't need a receipt.
And she gets away with that.
I get away with it every time with a chuckle.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just charming. Do you think that's
You are charming, but you're also a middle-aged white woman wearing yoga pants, so there's something there, right?
If I have Starbucks, I could probably get away with more.
Maybe
a pumpkin spice latte would get me even... And Ugg boots. I could always throw on the Ugg boots.
So if I ever don't have my receipt, I'm going to have you do it for me.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Or, you know what? Social experiment. I'll try to do it.
You go first.
Yep. Then I'll go outside, tag you're it, and you try to go in and do it.
We could probably video it.
We'll video that.
We have great ideas at the last. We could just go around and do experiences. Mm-hmm. That all the things we've talked about and show. Because every time we do one of these videos, people are like, does that really happen? Or this happens here, or this happens there. It's like,
but if we show it in real time, like live happening, oh yeah. I have to go to work. So bye.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.